What's up guys, I'm ArieRashelle and this is Too Deep. We've done a few videos on hell going into detail explaining that hell and Hades aren't the same place. Hell is the lake of fire while Hades is the underworld. This common misconception comes from the mistranslation of Hades in the King James Version. So with that said, let's just dive right into this. Hell is the Greek word Gehenna, whereas Hades is the Greek word Hades. According to Jesus himself, hell is a place only some are sentenced to and thrown into after the great white throne judgment because of their actions or lack thereof. Matthew 5:27-30 and Matthew 23:23-36. Whereas Hades is a place that all went when they died to await judgment. For more on why Hades and hell are different and what the different descriptions of hell actually mean, check out our mini-series Hell, which is under our The End Times category or playlist. Now we can be sure that Hades is in fact the underworld that was created for all people, righteous and unrighteous, to go when they died, because Peter clarifies it for us in Acts chapter 2 verse 27. For you will not abandon my soul to Hades or let your Holy One see corruption. Peter was quoting King David's prophecy of the then coming Messiah, Jesus Christ. Psalm 16 verse 10. For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol or let your Holy One see corruption. The Greek word Hades replaced the Hebrew word Sheol, which is the underworld. We know this because Jacob said he would go down to Sheol to Joseph in mourning. Genesis chapter 37 verse 35. All his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted and said, No, I shall go down to Sheol to my son, mourning. Thus his father wept for him. Therefore, we can rest assured that Sheol and Hades are the same place and that it's the underworld. Now with that said, let's read the story of the rich man and Lazarus that gives us a picture of what Hades really looks like. Luke chapter 16 verse 19-23. There was a rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, and who feasted sumptuously every day. And at his gate was laid a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, who desired to be fed with what fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, even the dogs came and licked his sores. The poor man died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried. And in Hades, being in torment, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham far off and Lazarus at his side. I want you to notice that the rich man died and went to Hades, and within Hades, he saw Lazarus, who also died and was standing next to Abraham. Now, not only could he see Lazarus and Abraham a far ways off from him, but he could also speak to them. And he called out, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus to dip the end of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am in anguish in this flame. But Abraham said, Child, remember that you, in your lifetime, received your good things, and Lazarus in like manner bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in anguish. The unnamed rich man called out to Father Abraham, pleading for mercy and asking to have Lazarus dip his finger in water and cool his tongue. I want you to notice that they weren't just close enough to see each other, but close enough to communicate with each other as well. The rich man was in anguish in the flames of Hades, but could see the water that was near Lazarus, but was unreachable to him. Let's keep reading. Verse 26. This is Abraham continuing his answer to the rich man. And besides all this, between us and you, a great chasm has been fixed, in order that those who would pass from here to you may not be able, and none may cross from there to us. Now we have a clear picture. They are all in the same place, with two sides separated by a great chasm. One side was fire and anguish, while the other was comfort and peace. Therefore, we can understand that all went to Hades, but one side for the righteous and the other side for the unrighteous. And they could not cross over from one side to the other. In Hades, our full consciousness and memory are in full effect. We know who we are, what happened to us, and even why we're there. We know this because the rich man didn't argue with Abraham when he was told no. Instead, he made a second request. Let's read our next set of verses 27-31. And he said, Then I beg you, Father, to send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, so that he may warn them, lest they also come into this place of torment. But Abraham said, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, No, Father Abraham, but if someone goes to them from the dead, they will repent. He said to him, If they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be convinced if someone should rise from the dead. The rich man understood that it was his own actions that had put him there. He wasn't even resentful or angry. He was pleading and seeking mercy. You only seek mercy if you believe that justice has been served and you're begging for the ease of judgment. He then remembered his 5 brothers, who most likely, since they came to his mind, were just like him, selfish, greedy, not caring about anyone but themselves. His memory of his family was still intact, and his love for his brothers and fear of them coming there as well was kindled within him. So Hades is split up into 2 places, a side of torment and a side of comfort. Now I want you to remember David's prophecy. He said that God wouldn't abandon Jesus to Hades. That means that when Christ died, he went to Hades, not heaven. This is important because look at what Jesus tells the thief on the cross. Luke chapter 23, verse 43. And he said to him, "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." David prophesied Jesus wouldn't be left or abandoned in Hades. So when Jesus died, his soul went to Hades. Now, according to Jesus, the good side of Hades is called paradise. This all now begs the question, where is Hades? Matthew chapter 12 verse 40 says, "For just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." According to Jesus himself, Hades is in the heart of the earth. This now makes sense why when Saul went to the witch of Endor and she called up the spirit of Samuel, Samuel rose up out of the ground. 1 Samuel chapter 28 verses 11 through 14. Then the woman said, "Whom shall I bring up for you?" He said, "Bring up Samuel for me." When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice, and the woman said to Saul, "Why have you deceived me? You are Saul." The king said to her, "Do not be afraid. What do you see?" And the woman said to Saul, "I see a God coming up out of the earth." He said to her, "What is his appearance?" And she said, "An old man is coming up, and he is wrapped in a robe." And Saul knew that it was Samuel, and he bowed with his face to the ground and paid homage. The witch of Endor asked Saul who he would like her to bring up for him. Then, when she did her witchcraft, Samuel began coming up out of the earth. This is because he was in paradise, the good side of Hades, which is in the heart of the earth. Now when Jesus rose from the dead 3 days after his death, he didn't rise alone. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 7 through 10, New King James Version. But to each one of us, grace was given according to the measure of Christ's gift. Therefore, he says, when he ascended on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts to men. Now this, he ascended, what does it mean but that he also first descended into the lower parts of the earth? He who descended is also the one who ascended far above all the heavens, that he might fill all things. According to Paul, the greatest apostle who ever lived, and David, who was so in tune with God that it is he whom the Messiah would be known as the son of, Matthew chapter 22 verse 42 and Psalms chapter 68 verse 18, Jesus not only descended into the lower parts of the earth and then ascended far above the heavens, but when he ascended, he led a host of captives. What does this mean? John chapter 14 verse 1 through 7 says, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go to prepare a place for you, and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. And you know the way to where I am going." Thomas said to him, "Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Jesus said to him, "I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do know him, and you have seen him." Jesus told his disciples that he had to go to prepare a place for them. This is because prior to his resurrection, when all people died, they went to Hades. They went to either a place of torment or a place of comfort. Now after the resurrection, he led a host of captives in his train. He brought those who accepted him out of Hades with him. Now when we die, we go to one of 2 places: heaven, to the room Jesus prepared for us, or to Hades, the side of torment. We know that people still go to Hades when they die because Hades gives up its dead at the last judgment. Revelation chapter 20, verse 11 through 15. Then I saw a great white throne and him who was seated on it. From his presence earth and sky fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Then another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged by what was written in the books, according to what they had done. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it. Death and Hades gave up the dead who were in them, and they were judged, each one of them according to what they had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire. And if anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. Not only does Hades give up its dead, but after that, it is thrown into the lake of fire, which is hell. If all people went to Hades before the resurrection of Christ, and all the wicked still go to Hades, it makes sense why King Solomon describes Hades like this. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 20. Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and never satisfied are the eyes of man. Agur, son of Jakeh, wow, these names are hard, agrees with King Solomon. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 15 through 16. The leech has 2 daughters, give and give. 3 things are never satisfied, 4 never say enough. Sheol, the barren woman, the land never satisfied with water, and the fire that never says enough. God also describes it as such. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 14. Therefore Sheol has enlarged its appetite and opened its mouth beyond measure. And the nobility of Jerusalem and her multitude will go down, her revelers and he who exalts in her. Because Hades is the underworld, is not just the realm of the dead for humanity, but it's a holding cell for all who have sinned and are removed from the earth. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 15. But you are brought down to Sheol, to the far reaches of the pit. This is Isaiah's prophecy of Lucifer. For more on Lucifer, who is not Satan, check out our videos, Who is Lucifer, and From Lucifer to Satan, which are both under our Too Deep category, or playlist. Now, according to Isaiah, Lucifer was sent down to Sheol, the far reaches of the pit. According to Revelation chapter 9, the shaft of the bottomless pit, the abyss, is opened and 3 things come out: smoke, locusts, and Abaddon. In Revelation chapter 11 and 17, Abaddon is referred to as the beast out of the bottomless pit, or the beast that is about to rise from the bottomless pit. For more on Abaddon, check out our mini-series Abaddon, which is under our The End Times category, or playlist. Now with that said, within Sheol or Hades, you have the bottomless pit, which holds supernatural beings for a period of time until they are released. It doesn't seem that the bottomless pit holds them until the final judgment, as Satan will be held in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years and then will be released on the earth again. Revelation chapter 20, verse 1 through 10. Hades isn't just holding the souls of the dead and the punished supernatural beings. Look at Isaiah's prophecy, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 9. Sheol beneath is stirred up to meet you when you come. It rouses the shades to greet you, all who were leaders of the earth. It raises from their thrones all who were kings of the earth. According to this prophecy, there are beings called shades that rise up to meet the kings of the earth who died and go down to Sheol. To paint more of a picture for you, Hades also has gates, Isaiah chapter 38, verse 10, and bars, Job chapter 17, verse 16. But for the sake of time, we'll dig deeper into the pit, the shades, the gates, and the bars of Hades in another video, so that we can just wrap this video up. Let's sum everything up for you guys real quick. Hades and Sheol are the Greek and Hebrew words for the underworld. Before the resurrection, each person, when they died, went to Hades. If righteous, they went to Abraham's side, to paradise. If unrighteous, they went into flames of anguish. The 2 sides are divided by a great chasm that keeps one from crossing from one side to the other. Even though the great chasm divides them, people can still see and communicate with those on the opposite side. Each person, when they die, has their memories, understanding, and self-awareness intact. They know who they are, understand why they're there, if told to them, and still have memories of their past and their family who are still alive. At the resurrection, Jesus led a host of captives and prepared a room in his Father's house for all who believe in him. No longer do the righteous die and go to Hades, but now they die and go to heaven. For more on heaven, check out our video What Happens When You Die, which is under our Not for the Weak of Heart category or playlist. Within Hades, there is the bottomless pit, where Lucifer is currently being kept and where Satan will be thrown for 1,000 years in the future. At the last judgment, the gates and bars of Hades will open and it will give up its dead, and then it will be thrown into the lake of fire, which is hell. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you want to further grow your relationship with God and have a daily devotional sent directly to your phone or email, subscribe to our website, HoldToHope.org, or join our Telegram channel, HoldToHope, where you will also receive an encouraging verse, quote, and lyric of the day. If there's ever a video of ours taken down on YouTube that you want to see, it'll always be available on our website, Telegram channel, or Rumble, so do with that information as you see fit. And until next time, God bless.